All right, so I have a feeling I'm going to be making a lot of videos today because today is a day of action and we already had some action. So let me start off with this. Now, for anyone who knows me or those of you who have been following me on this channel, you know I have a very strong mental game. In fact, I teach mental game. I teach people how to develop their mental game, and my mental game has been developed and honed over years and years and years, almost 40 years, of making lots of mistakes and then finally realizing that the key to success was not my analysis or my strategy or my methodology or understanding the markets. The key to success was in me, in mastering myself. So I developed the whole concept of mental game, and I put that as the number one element for determining success. Now, having said that, you know that I have a very strong mental game when it comes to trading. However, I have a very weak mental game, apparently, when it comes to understanding other people's behavior or some other people's behavior. And I would apply that to the behavior of mainstream economics, central banking, which falls in that category, okay? Because every single time, recently anyway, in these past central bank meetings, whether they're Bank of Japan or the Fed, I have wrongly anticipated the behavior and the reaction. And the reason for that is I am a rational person. I like to conduct myself in a rational way. And for me, the pursuit of the truth is the most important thing, and also the desire for a good outcome. And when I say a good outcome, I don't mean necessarily for me. Yeah, I have certain things that I would like to see, but I understand that I'm not the guy in control. That's a rational position. I can't do anything about it. But an outcome, when people say, for example, they want to see a certain thing, that that's the thing they want to see. And when they're not getting it, they'll make shifts or adjustments to get it. So I've gone around kind of in a roundabout way to saying that the action by the Bank of Japan today was not only once again more of the same and more of the irrational, but it was another example of how my mental game was off on the expectation of what they were going to do. Okay, it was written, and it was the talk was that they would do a reverse twist. These the pundits, they give these things really silly names now. Reverse twist was where the Bank of Japan was supposedly going to be buying short dated government securities as opposed to what it has been doing, which is the purchase of long dated government securities. And the buying of short dated, in their mind, was going to steepen the yield curve, which they saw as something that would be stimulative. Okay, all that does again is it just gives the banks a bigger spread, and it might help bank earnings, but again, that's not, that's again this idea that lending is driven by, either giving the banks more money or putting more reserves in the banking system. And we know that it's the other way around. Lending is driven by demand and the ability of borrowers to pay back loans. Bank only gives you a loan when it looks at you and thinks, yeah, this guy has the ability to pay it back. Okay, not because it has a certain amount of reserves. That's meaningless. So anyway, what the bank did, so I thought, hey, first of all, the buying a short dated, if that was done in perpetuity, and I sent this out in an email yesterday, that's basically the same thing as buying a long dated, because um, what is the yield on a long dated government security? That just reflects the expectation of central bank policy over that term. If the Fed or the Bank of Japan says they're just going to keep buying short dated maturities, then basically the whole curve goes down to zero. And I've been all through that. So it would do nothing except shift the yield curve down. Anyway, not to get too deep into that discussion, they didn't do that. So what they did was, get this, they set the 10-year, basically said we're gonna work to put the 10-year at zero. Meanwhile, it's negative. So what is that? It's just like comical. It's ridiculous. We're going to work to put the 10-year at zero as if it was 8% or something. It's negative now. Or just slightly above negative. It's been hovering plus or minus like 0.07%, minus 0.023%, something like that. So that's just symbolic. It's there already, okay? And then they said, well, we're going to also ensure the growth of the money supply. Now, money supply in central banking terms, that's reserves, because that's the only thing really that the central banks have a little bit of control of, not even a lot of control, because we know that loans create reserves and loans create deposits, not the other way around. I mean, the central banks can buy assets and increase the level of reserves, but we've seen that done in the last 25 years with the Bank of Japan. And it has done nothing to stimulate the economy and nothing to pick up the inflation rate. In fact, it has been the opposite, because the purchase of assets has stripped out income producing or income generating assets. So they've actually removed money. Okay. So here we go again. I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm crying inside. I'm crying and I'm angry, because these people who are just fucking morons and just so wedded to an ideology and a dogma that is so fucking wrong, and that you would think just any person, an idiot, a moron, would wake up and see that whatever they're doing is doing, not even that it's not working, it's doing the opposite. If it's not working, that's a little tiny bit more complex to figure out what's going wrong. If it's doing the opposite, then at least stop doing that, or try to do the opposite to bring about what you want to achieve. But no. So anyway, what happened to the yen? The yen immediately started rallying, of course, because this expansion of reserves and keeping the 10-year at zero, that's deflationary. So the yen's going up. So it's just a shit show. It's a comedy show. And now we're going to get today the Fed. And this time I'm going to say, because I've been saying I think the Fed's going to, I think nothing's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do anything. All right. I'm finally starting to realize, when you're wrong, I'm going to apply the same logic that I would wish, or I would hope that these idiots apply to their own policies. I'm going to apply that logic on myself. I've been wrong on guessing what these guys are going to do, and I have to guess now that the Fed's not going to do anything. So what's going to happen in that case? You're going to get a knee-jerk reaction in stocks. Stocks are going to rally. The zombies are going to buy. They're going to buy gold. They're going to buy commodities. And that means it's going to set up an amazing selling opportunity for stocks, for gold, for commodities, okay? On the other hand, they're going to sell the dollar, okay? Because they're going to think, they didn't raise rates. They're going to sell the dollar. And that is going to set up an amazing buying opportunity in the dollar, okay? Now, if by chance, by some chance, they do hike rates, the opposite is going to happen. The zombies are going to sell stocks. They're going to panic. They're going to sell gold. They're going to sell commodities. And that is going to set up a fantastic buying opportunity in stocks, in gold, in commodities. And on the flip side of that, if they raise rates today, you're going to see the dollar shoot higher. And that is going to set up a fantastic, amazing selling opportunity in the dollar. So you heard it here first. Nobody else has these forecasts, these predictions. I'm the only one. I'm going to be right. I could say this without any hesitation, without any equivocation whatsoever. I know what the outcome is going to be. I mean, I don't know the outcome of the Fed meeting. I kind of think it's going to be a nothing. And if it's a nothing, I just told you what is going to happen. So going to be a lot of videos today, folks, because a lot going on. Today is a day of action, baby. Action. By the way, all of my subscribers, they've been receiving emails from me last night, today, this morning. They're getting recommendations on what to buy, what to sell. If you want those recommendations, you could get them right now. Just sign up for a 30-day free trial of MMT Trader. Go to www.pitbulleconomics.com. Click on the tab that says Products, and you'll see 30 days free trial. Sign up now. You'll get all my recommendations for free right before the Fed meetings. You can make some money. And then you could really subscribe. See you later. Bye-bye.